Hi friends, welcome back to your channel. Sales is always fun. In this episode, we will look at B2B buyers. Remember when we were talking of prospecting, we had spoken about the man. Money, authority, need. So I was telling you, when you go to prospect, you need to find out who has got the money, who's the authority, who has got the need. Now, when you walk into a startup or a very small company, it could be only one person. The proprietor himself could play all the three roles. Probably if you go to a slightly bigger company, there could be 2 or 3 people also. Maybe there will be one user, there would be a person who has got the authority to pay you, and the need could be with somebody else. So this man is there till you go to the small and medium-sized companies. But once you go to a slightly bigger company, then MUTE is the acronym that we're using here. It will be MUTE C. Now I'll come to C later. What is MUTE? We'll look at MUTE first. MUTE, M stands for management, which could be the CEO and the CXOs who would be involved in the purchase. U stands for the user, somebody who would be using the product day in and day out. T could be the technical buyer. He is somebody who would ensure that this product is suitable for their kind of software setup and the hardware they have. E is the economic buyer who understands only price and discounts. And now who's this C? MUTE C. C is the coach. Now who's this coach? Invariably, coach is your man Friday. In the sense, he is the one in the organization who is wanting you to win the deal. Now, this coach could be one of these people in the MUTE, or could be a third person altogether. So when you walk into a bigger customer, you need to tick to see if you have found out who is who in this MUTE. And now when you now go to a large account for a very large deal, the rules of the game are slightly more complex and it is little different. Okay, so when you go to a large account, the number of people involved also will be more. And the complexities will also be higher. So let us see who are the kind of people who would be there involved in that. First, of course, is your user, the person who's going to use your product. So like always, he is going to see whether this is more convenient for me to use. How helpful is it for me? And that's exactly what he's going to look at. And then, of course, your coach, your man Friday. Then you have an admin buyer. The role of this admin buyer is to ensure that you are good as a supplier, that the money is not down the drain. They buy from you and they can be confident that you are there to take care of them. And then, of course, you have the economy buyer who only looks at the cost involved, and he would look at the cost and value for money and the discount that he can get out of you. And then, of course, there is a technology team which will study to see that your product suits their requirement within their environment. It works well with their software and with their hardware and their environment there. And then, of course, you have the management team which would be closely involved. The management team is again the CEO and the CXOs in the organizations. Now, since the management team is involved, there will be a new character who will come into play, who's called as the gatekeeper. Now, this gatekeeper is somebody who stands between you and the management, probably the secretary to the CEO or to the CFO or the CXO. So you will have to go through the gatekeeper to reach the management team. So one way is that you can bypass the gatekeepers, go to the CEO directly, but then that may not take you for the long run. So it is always better that you get friendly with the gatekeeper, talk to them, enable, because they can actually tell you what the management problems are and which you can help them through. So gatekeeper is a very important person in the purchase process. And then you would also have somebody called as an influencer, who could be from the lower or middle management level. His job, or could be a team sometimes, what they do is they only study about the technical feasibility of the service or product that you're going to offer. Maybe let's say you're offering a laptops. So he is not bothered about price. He's not bothered about anything. He'll only see whether this product will suit my environment, and from my environment, what kind of laptops I should buy. So majority of the time, the management goes by what the influencer says. And it is he who you need to be very closely working with, because his recommendation is very important, and if you can influence him, basically your spec fixing happens at the influencer level. And if you have in a large account, if in a deals where if you can get your spec in place, the deal is more or less yours. So the influencer is somebody who actually works and gets it done. So it is up to you how you find out. And yes, your man Friday, your coach should be able to help you to get in there, to reach him. And then of course there is a decision maker who could be from the management side. He would be somebody who is very close to the CEO. Mostly it would be the CFO, but can be sometimes other CXOs also who are close to the CEOs. And this decision maker is somebody whom you need to track and tap upon, because this is a very dicey situation with the decision maker, because you need to spot him exactly. Because you go to many organizations, especially government accounts, you would find many people saying, yes, I am the decision maker here. I can influence my boss. My boss goes, I am very close to my boss. And he will tell you so many stories. But then you need to be very careful, is he actually influential or not? So you probably have to question him, ask him to find out when was the last time you sat with the CEO, when was the last time you did what, where he did. Because these people will put you in trouble, because you would spend a lot of time, money and energy with them and finally find that he's of no use. So you need to be very careful, especially when it comes to decision makers, how you track them and who's the decision maker. Probably if you can get to the CEO a couple of times, you would get to know who the decision maker is exactly. And yes, so what you need to do now is check in your large accounts, all these people who are there, have you met them? And if you are not met them, probably search out, find out who they are, so that once you have met all these people, the deal is more or less in your pocket. Okay, so now we were talking about the CEO and the CXOs, the management level. So when you go to this CEOs and CXOs, you need to be very clear what you talk, because they may not be just interested in what you say about the product, the features, the benefits and all that, or all the stuff that you talk, they would not be very keen. For example, when you go to our CEO, he would probably look at what is the growth possibility because of your product or service. Growth in the sense the turnover, the profitability, the market share, and how less of risk that he needs to take. So that's exactly what you need to speak when you speak to a CEO. When you go to a CFO, he understands finance, yes. So probably the language of ROI, how much of cost reduction he is going to have, how quick the decisions are going to be. His ROI and costs are two things which he is going to look into. So you need to be talking a lot about the cost benefit, the margins, increase in the margins. Of course, he also looks at the risk reduction also will be there. And if you go to a COO, the operating officer, he will look at how the efficiency with which the job gets executed. That will be his area of interest. So that is what you should talk to him as to how the efficiency improves, how the work happens faster, and how the operations are easy and faster done. And if you go to CHRO, the HR man, Chief Human Resource Officer, he is very clear. For him it is retention. Will I be able to retain my manpower? Will the culture be good, positively impacted? And will the manpower be happy? So you need to talk to him as to how your solution helps to improve employee satisfaction, he will definitely listen to you if you talk in this language. And then, of course, if you go to the CTO or the CIO, the Chief Technical or the Information Officer, they would want one, security, because of your system or your process that comes in, their system should not be affected. No viruses and other things, no external threat should come in. And the stability of their current system which is running. So this is the language that you need to speak to them. Or if you go to the CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, he is only interested in the quality and the quantity of leads that your system will help to generate. And this exactly what is you need to speak when you are in a negotiation table, during demonstration, or anytime you meet them. So next time you walk into a CEO or a CXO's room, now you know what you need to talk to them to get their attention. So happy selling. Thank you for watching, and please do press the bell button and subscribe for the channel, and also share it with your friends if you find this interesting, so that the next video which we will talk on why customers buy comes, you'll be intimated. Till we meet again, happy selling. Thank you. Bye.